You hear the music, you know what time it is. It is time for another fantastic episode of The Jump Off. I am your host, KODX Factor, and we are here back live in the studio in the lounge after a very, very awesome holiday weekend. We hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We hope everybody got a chance to spend quality time with their friends and family for the holidays. We hope everybody enjoyed their shopping, because I'm sure a lot of y'all, either you yourself or your family, had gone out shopping for the weekend, picked up a lot of Christmas gifts, looked at different Christmas items, picked up those really, really awesome holiday deals. Because trust me, there was a lot of deals going around for video games this holiday, and Nintendo Switch led the way, especially on Cyber Monday, with the Switch sales. PlayStation 4 was right there with it, because you can't find a PlayStation 4 nowhere. They may be in stock now as you're listening to this show, but trust me, for that time, on that weekend and that week, man, you were not able to find them. I'll just say that. Xboxes you were able to find pretty frequently, but as far as the Switches go and the PlayStation 4s, it was a crapshoot whether you were able to find one. But we hope everybody, again, had a great holiday. We're thankful to be back. We are here in the office now, and we are just putting together this show, getting ready for the Game Awards next week. I'm sure a lot of y'all have been paying attention to the Game Awards. I'm sure there's a lot of announcements to be coming out of it. A lot of game announcements, gameplay videos, and trailers coming down the pipeline, especially to the week leading up to the Game Awards. There may be a few surprises, but I'll just say I've never really been a huge fan of the Game Awards. I just don't like the presentation. I don't like the way they go about presenting the show. But you know, that's always good. You're always going to have that, especially from something like this. It just doesn't really just seem to click all the time. I've just never really been a fan of the show. Not to mention, I got to look at their Game of the Year nominees and some of their other nominees for some of their categories, and I'm not the biggest fan of some of their nominees. Some of them I'm okay with. You know, Game of the Year, God of War, Red Dead, you know, obviously, and then Spider-Man, okay. You know, I'm okay with those. But then there's some other ones that they have nominated as well, and I'm just like, you know, really? I don't understand the nomination behind that, but okay. There was a lot of really good games out there. I'm sure much better ones. I mean, this year, I will say, is definitely probably one of the best years in video games that we've had in quite a while. And, you know, and that's saying a lot, because we've had a lot of really strong years in the past. And last year wasn't what I would consider probably one of the strongest years. And I knew it always seems it's on the eights. It's on the eights. When it comes to one of the eights, you know, and when I say eights, I mean, I'm talking about years, 2008, 2018. It seems to always be like one of those big years of games when it falls on the eights. And this year was a big year. I mean, we got some really, really awesome games this year from God of War, you know, from God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2. That was awesome. The PlayStation VR is actually starting to pick up a little bit of steam now. There was actually some pretty solid games for that. Transference came out. Beat Saber finally hit PlayStation VR. So I think VR is really, really starting to come into its stride of games. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. The Switch really hit some pretty good strides this year, you know, with Octopath Traveler. That was a huge one for them. There was a lot of ports. You know, I will say that about the Switch. There were a lot of ports, but, you know, Fortnite has been really, really big for them. And then, like I said, Octopath Traveler, the Pokemon Let's Go. You got Super Smash Brothers still coming out in like another week, which look out for content for that, by the way, as well, because content's going to be coming for Smash Brothers here pretty soon. And I'm looking forward to that. But, you know, you gotta look at what these systems are offering, what they're bringing to the table. Xbox didn't really have a whole lot. As far as first-party exclusives go, they didn't really have a whole lot. They still had a lot as far as games go, because you got the multi-platform games, but Forza did really, really well for them. And then, you know, you have all those other titles, you know, like Battlefield, Call of Duty, that had come out that, you know, some were hits, some were misses. The big miss, obviously was Fallout 76, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. But before we get into all of that, I want everybody, because next week's show is going to be pretty much solely about the Game Awards coming up. We're going to talk about our expectations, what we expect, what we're looking forward to seeing from the show, what we anticipate to be announced at the show, and some of the winners that we anticipate taking some of these categories. So let us know what your guys' thoughts and opinions are on the upcoming show. Our next week's show, like I said, is going to cover that. And then the following show after that is going to be almost like a recap of the Game Awards. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then, but I like to know everybody's opinion, what they think about the Game Awards. What's your anticipations? What you think is going to be coming up? What may not be? What games were some of your biggest highlights of the year and some of your biggest disappointments of the year? But since we're talking about disappointments, let me segue a little bit into the Bethesda is taking more and more heat now for Fallout 76. And it seems like every single time, we talked a little bit about this last week, that every time Bethesda turns his head, there's something else coming. There's more backlash. There's more criticism. Look, we all get it. Fallout 76 was a misstep. We got people here in the office that actually like playing Fallout 76. They enjoy it. And I tell all of them, if you enjoy it, please, by all means, enjoy yourself. Have fun with the game. If you're having fun with it, absolutely enjoy yourself. Don't let anybody else bully or tell you that you can't enjoy a game because a majority of fans don't appreciate it or don't like it. If you're one of the few that does, then enjoy it. Forget what everybody else says. There's no reason for you to defend yourself if you're one of the ones that likes the game. There's games I like that many people don't like, and that's okay. There's backlash for all kinds of games out there. Everybody's taste is different. But everybody still wants to throw their 2 cents into the pot when it comes to criticizing Fallout 76. Yes, the game still has a bunch of bugs. And one of the complaints was that Bethesda's been really, really tight-lipped. It hasn't really said a whole lot since the release of Fallout. Until they put out their Reddit post that they apologize for not being as vocal as they should, that they are putting out patches to fix this game. It is going to be a journey. It's going to be a road. But they are putting out patches to fix complaints and to fix gameplay and stuff like that. And look, I appreciate all that. And that they promise they're going to be a little bit more vocal, especially like on a weekly basis. They're going to be a little bit more vocal with the fans, taking the criticism in and trying to fix Fallout 76. And you can go to our YouTube channel, you can go to our website, and you can check out our review of the game. It wasn't a very good review, but I still have faith in Bethesda. I still have faith in what they produce. Just because they've had this misstep with this game does not cancel or negate everything else that I have appreciated from Bethesda. This is the studio that's given us all the Elder Scrolls, Fallout 3, Fallout 4. They've given us these games. They've given us a pretty steady library of games and things to look forward to that I think, okay, I'm not going to say take Fallout 76 and just completely brush it under the rug, because there are men like us, we spent $60 on this game. Some spent $200-something on the game for the collector's edition. And that leads into another debacle. The $200 collector's edition of Fallout 76. On the advertisement of the collector's edition, it was talking about the bag that came with it. It was supposed to be kind of like a hardened material, so it didn't feel cheap. And the bag was supposed to be made out of like just really, really nice material. It's supposed to you can hold the helmet and everything in the bag. Now look, the collector's edition did come with a bag, And if you're one of the ones that actually opened up the bag, you quickly realize that this material that's on the bag is a nylon material, not what was promised in the advertisement. And it's a cheaper material. And somebody from Bethesda told or went out, and because a fan had complained about it, went out onto that fan's post and said that it is because of the cost that it would make to do the more expensive bag was not beneficial, and they could not do it, especially for the price point that they announced for the collector's edition. They couldn't make it cheap enough, so they had to go with another material, which was the nylon. And there's nothing they're going to do about it, which is pretty much like, complain all you want, there ain't nothing we're going to do about that. Now look, I am all for, okay, look, you made a mistake in the advertisement. And the bag is no longer like, I think they said it was like an acrylic bag, or it was supposed to be like an acrylic bag. It's now a nylon bag. But if you change the material up to a nylon bag, you got to fix the advertisement. That actually seems pretty logical to me, pretty simple. It's a simple fix. You can even have the same picture because the bag looks the same from the outside until you actually pick it up and look at it. Then you could tell the material that is not really the acrylic expensive material that they have talked about before, but more of like the nylon cheap material. But you got to fix the advertisement. You got to let people know, it's like, look, okay, we had to make a change from this material for the bag to this material because of cost. And you're still going to get a bag, it's just going to be made out of a different material. And most people would have been fine with it. To be quite honest with you, we opened up ours here in the office. We did an unboxing video and everything, and I completely glanced over the bag. I completely forgot the bag was even in there until I went to go put the helmet back in the box, and I was like, oh crap, there's a bag down here. And I didn't even realize it. I didn't even realize the material was made out of until the fact that I saw the news story pop up about the Fallout 76 Collector's Edition debacle. And I was like, there was a debacle about that? I was like, yeah, the helmet is, you can wear it. And I see nothing wrong with the helmet, but it was the bag. And people are talking about filing class action lawsuits against Bethesda because they're refusing to give refunds, which, look, I've never been one to ask for refunds on games. Like, look, I paid, and if I don't like what I paid for, then okay, look, then I was, a mistake on my part. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't look into the game. I didn't play it. I played the beta, and I kind of knew what I was already getting into anyway, and I still went ahead with it anyway because, I'm a Fallout fan. I'm a Bethesda fan. Not to mention I had my money. We had our money tied into the collector's edition, so it was like, even if the game's garbage, we still got a cool collector's edition out of it, and, it's still a Fallout game. We're going to play it, and we're going to play it with friends. But I've never been one for, like, the whole refund thing. Like, I want my money back because this game is crap. I've never, ever agreed with that at all. It's like, if you were on the fence about it, you should have looked at reviews, even though reviews were a little bit slow to trickle out for this game anyway. Look at reviews and find out what people are saying about the game before you go out and buy it. I say that about every single game, every project that's ever come out. Do your due diligence. Research it. Find out what it is. If it's something you think you're going to like, then okay. If it's something that's just not going to ring your bell, do not worry about it, no matter what franchise it comes from. There's always been games, especially from some of my favorite franchises. Gears of War is one of my favorite franchises. All my friends know that. But I wasn't the biggest fan of Gears of War Judgment. Gears of War 1, 2, 3, and 4, yes, I will play them all day. Gears of War Judgment, I'd rather not look at. But I didn't go to Epic or People Can Fly and start demanding my money back because I didn't like the game. Like, look, the game is, it has issues. It's going to get better. But to go out and just start demanding your money back because it's not a game that you like or you're really, really enjoying, and people are going to be like, no, there's game-breaking bugs that make it almost near impossible to play. Okay, so try a different server. Or trust me, there's no way you just haven't been able to play the game at all since launch. I call BS. You're really what it is. You're disgruntled. You're completely mad at how bad the game is. that you want to scream at somebody about it, and the person you're going to go scream at is the people that made it. Okay? The people that made it didn't put a gun to your head and said, you are going to go purchase this game. You must buy it now. No. They presented you with something. You said, oh, that looks good. I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to try it. If you did not play the beta leading up to that point, even though you had free access to do that, especially if you pre-ordered the game, that's on you. You got a chance to play it early. You got a chance to check it out before anybody else did. You should have known already what you're getting into. That's on you. I hate when people say this game is completely unplayable. I can't play it. There's nothing I can do with it. I can't even start it up. I can't play it. Yeah, you can. You just choose not to. That's BS. You can play it. You can play it. I have friends that are playing on PC right now that are having no problems. How come you're the only one that has a problem? It's BS. You're disgruntled and you're mad because the game is not up to par to your standards. That, you know what? Chalk it up as a learning experience. Sorry, the game is bad. Either give it to a buddy, give it to a friend, sell it, whatever the case may be, just chalk it up as a loss. You had no other option at this point. If it goes to court, trust me, you're not going to get very far. Not many of those games and cases that go to court ever do. Chalk it up as a loss. You're not getting your money back. That's like if you go to a concert or you go to like a comedy show and you demand your money back because the comedian wasn't funny enough. You think you're going to get your money back? No. I think, was it Dave Chappelle? I think he said it best. Like, look, you're not getting your money back. I get paid for the attempt. If you don't like it, that's on you. Sorry. Just don't come back to another one then. He gets paid for the attempt. Hey, developers the same way. They're paid for the attempt. If you didn't like it, oh, okay, then don't buy the microtransactions. Don't continue playing it. Go to something else. The only way you're going to hit them where it's going to count is if you don't purchase any of their games. You got to chalk that up as a loss. I'm sorry you feel that way, but that's just the nature of the game. Now, before we close out, there's one more thing I wanted to get to today because I just read the story on it just a little bit ago, and it kind of already rubbed me the wrong way. And we are going to be circling back to Fortnite. Seems like we just cannot get away from Fortnite. And Fortnite, again, and here's the news story, that Fortnite has come under fire once again for having a detrimental effect on younger players or the younger audience. A child psychologist claims that there has been a marked increase in kids attending counseling. I'm going to slow down here. Attending counseling on an account of video game addiction, which may or may not be tied to the uptake of players since the game's launch. Apparently, he's even quoted as saying, the game is like heroin. Says a British behavioral expert or specialist, Lorraine Mayer. I don't even know how you pronounce the name. I don't care at this point. Whose work involves dealing with children suffering from video game addiction. Once you are hooked, it's hard to get unhooked. And look, and even Bloomberg goes on to report on a number of parents and professionals recounting their experiences on Twitter that includes a 17-year-old playing for 12 hours a day and falling asleep in class, to over half a certain group of kids getting counseled for video game addictions at a handful of camps in North Carolina, the state that I am currently residing in, playing the game to excess. I've never seen a game that has such control over kids' minds, says Debbie, the mother of the 17-year-old boy who can't apparently keep his eyes open in class. It's not only kids who are having these issues, as professional athletes are falling prey to the addictive nature of Fortnite. Okay, I'm not even gonna read anymore. That's just straight from the news story. Let me offer my 2 cents on this for like the last 10 minutes if I could. I've talked about this in the past. I've talked about how parents are attacking Epic Games attacking Fortnite for what it is. Look, there is addiction for it seems like nowadays there's addiction for everything in this world. There's an addiction. There's a problem with everything in this world now. Everything is associated with some psychological disorder. Everything is now associated with it. Let me be really, really brutally honest here and quite frank. If your kid is addicted to video games, or in this instance, quote unquote, addicted to Fortnite, it is your responsibility as a parent, I repeat, your responsibility as a parent to monitor your kids' game time, the games they play, and if they're addicted to video games to that extent, that is your fault. I see it got real, real quiet, especially in everybody. It's like, huh? And quite honestly, I'm sorry if some of y'all feel upset by that, but it's honest to God the truth. It's your fault. What happened to just parenting? What happened in America? Like, where did parenting become other people's problems or mistakes? Look, you're the parent. If your kid has gotten to that point to where they're so addicted that they can't focus on day-to-day tasks and their normal day-to-day school activities, that is your fault. You've got to keep an eye on them. Like, yes, monitor. We do it with our kids all the time. And now my son is all about Fortnite. He loves Fortnite. Everything is Fortnite. Every opportunity he has, he wants to talk about it or play it, one or the other. But guess what we do as parents? We keep his mind going even aside from Fortnite. We give him time frames. Okay, you can play for this many hours or this long of a period, but then you got to turn it off, put it up, and find something else to do. Not only that, but we get them involved with recreational sports every season. I mean, we put him in baseball. He's in basketball. He's done soccer. We keep him going with extra activities on top of just him playing his games. And when he's at these sporting events and when he's talking with his teammates, this becomes a talking point. And I am all for him playing video games. My wife is all for it. Like, if he enjoys it, he enjoys it. It's when he plays Fortnite, he's actually able to play with his cousins that are not in this state. One of his cousins not even in this country, and he has an opportunity to talk with him on a nightly basis and play a game with him on a nightly basis, and that is like their way of bonding without actually having to physically be with each other. Because they're, like I said, they're so far spread apart, they're in different states and different countries. It's a bonding experience. He's made friends online. It's a talking point when he's in his baseball team or his basketball team or whatever team he's playing on. If everybody's, it's an icebreaker. It's a way for him to kind of make friends there, and then they have a good time doing what they're doing. Then they go home and they play their video games with each other. And that is all well and good. But if it's gotten to the point to where it's what parents are talking about now, my son is addicted, he needs to go to digital counseling. What are you talking about? Digital counseling? You got to take your kid to go to digital counseling. Why? Because you failed as a parent? I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you're like, I didn't fail as a parent. In a way, you actually did. Now, look, all addictions, no matter what they are, whether it's digital, whether it's an alcohol addiction, whether it's a drug addiction, sex addiction, no matter what the addiction is, the addictions start somewhere. They start from something and then they go well beyond and they keep on building and building and building. And 9 times out of 10, somebody who is addicted to something, whether painkillers, drugs, doesn't matter what the addiction is, it could be to anything. It could be the addiction to soda. All addictions are people that have the ability to get away with doing it again and again and again and not having some sort of a support system or people there for them when they need it. Because Look, an addict knows they're addicted to something. That's just being honest. An addict knows when it's to a point where it has to be like a life or death scenario. All addictions like that, and all addiction starts from somewhere. Are you giving them that proper support system to say, look, you need to put the controllers down or put the mobile device down? First of all, why are they allowing mobile devices inside of schools anyway? Why don't you leave that crap inside your locker? I understand with the way that the world is today, most kids need to have that cell phone on their person because of crazy things that happen in this world. I get that. But whatever happened to like teachers cutting off the mobile access, or like, look, you could be here in the classroom, but that phone stays in your pocket. The minute I see it come out, I'm taking it from you. I would never, in my wildest dreams or days when I was in high school or middle school for that matter, or even elementary school, would I ever be able to take like my Game Boy or something like that to school and then play that while I'm in class, let alone giving a presentation? Never would I have been able to do that. But here's the problem. Like, teachers are so afraid now to take things from students because their students are going to go on social media and blast the crap out of that teacher to the point that the teacher's A, going to quit or get fired. And kids think they can get away with every little thing. And you know where that comes from? That comes from home. That comes from the parents. My kid knows, he knows, both of my kids do, that they're not getting away with stuff here, let alone here at home. They definitely won't get away with at school. They know that. They are already built to know that they have a certain respect level for adults, their teachers, no matter who it is, and they have a certain respect level that they have to show, and they will do, or they will get a serious butt whooping when they get home. Say that to all your parents out there. Give your kids a butt whooping. Don't be like, I don't want to hit him. Like, look, you're not his friend or her friend. You're not. You're a parent. Act like it. And stop trying to pass off your mistakes to everybody else's mistakes. Oh, it's an epidemic. It's a problem. No, it's not. It's your problem. Why don't you start doing what you're intended to do? Start being a parent. Start monitoring what they do. It's called taking it away from them. Oh, but then they're going to hate me. Okay, so what? They're your kid. At some point down the line, if your kid is not angry with you for something, you're not doing it right. People are going to probably hit me back on this so hard too, but like, no, a kid's not supposed to hate their parents. Really? How many times in your childhood did you look at your parents and say, I cannot wait to get out of here? Everybody's gone through that. And guess what? Your kids are too. But the way that you baby them and let them get away with every little thing, of course they're not going to want to. Hey, my dad will let me do whatever I want. My mom's going to let me do whatever I want. I can play Fortnite up till 1 o'clock in the morning. They're not going to say anything to me. And I'll just get up and go to school, and I'll just sleep in school today. No, you will not. I get angry when my kid stays up past 10 o'clock and his bedtime's at 8. That's called being a parent. Stop passing your blame and your mistakes off as a disorder and start passing it on to everybody else. I can sit down right now and be a psychiatrist and say, you know what? I'll treat I'll be your digital rehab. I'm sure that's what people are doing now. Like, hey, I can make money off of this. Your kid's suffering from digital addiction. I'll treat you. Guess what, folks? Listen to me. My email is on our website. Contact me. I will be your digital rehab partner. I will be more than happy to kind of help see you through. You got to pay me a certain amount of money, but I will help you walk it through. That's what it all is right now. Oh, it's a way for me to make money, but I don't want my kid to hate me. Oh my Lord! It seems like both of y'all need to grow up. Oh man. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out to listen to our episode today. If you like what you heard, or if you're against anything that I said today, please make sure that you let us know in the comments section. You can either do it on our website at www.GameNightLounge.wordpress.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Game Night Lounge, or me personally on Twitter, and I am at KOD X Factor. You can go to our YouTube channel, which is The Game Night Lounge. Please make sure you comment, like, subscribe to videos. This podcast will be up there as well. We are also on the iOS, Google Play stores. We are on podbean.com. We are on TuneIn. We are on multiple different podcast websites. So thank you guys so much for making that happen. And all the guests that appear on this show and future shows are part of the Game Night Lounge Media Network. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I am KOD X Factor. This is The Jump Off. And until next week, everybody, game on.